What's up, everybody? My name is CK. Welcome to CK Time. Hey, so this is going to be my first video on YouTube, which is exciting. And also, it'll be my first podcast, so I'll definitely try to be, on multiple platforms. So if you do like this podcast or a video, put a little like, subscribe, show me if you're really interested, and I'll definitely try to post more regularly with a schedule, hopefully. And, I already said I am CK, and here with me today we're going to talk about, school. School, I think, since everybody's back to school, it's be fun to talk about. It's October, autumn time, so definitely people are already studying for finals or stuff. I don't know what you guys do nowadays. But yeah, for all you kids out there studying hard, and having a good time. But here with me is who else better to talk about school but
Hi, my name is Connor. I'm an electrical engineer. So obviously I got a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. Also majored in English. That's not where my professional career took me, but that was also a thing in college. So today we're mostly going to be talking about college and the considerations that you might have when going to college.
yeah, because college is a crazy time, and a lot of people who are either in high school or already in college probably already experience the hectic balance of social life and college life. But specifically, I'm more interested in his field, the field of engineering. So I'm guess some of you guys are already think about doing engineering or wanting already in the field. So I'm curious. So since you say you're electrical engineering, let people know who don't know what engineering is like or don't know what it is. You want to talk a little bit more about the field of engineering?
Yeah, sure. So, engineering, broadly speaking, is basically about using science and math to solve problems or to improve things, to make things more efficient. Electrical engineering basically just takes that concept and applies it to like electrical systems, whether that's power generation, like electric vehicles, or the computer chip in your phone.
Yeah, I honestly wanted to do engineering myself, but you know, after high school, I was like, I really don't like math. Math is it's a little stress for me. But yeah, I ended up just doing psychology instead.
Yeah, I mean, you study the human brain
Oh,
rather than electricity or physics.
yeah, the human mind, man, it's too difficult to master and understand.
That it is. We still haven't mastered it, really.
Yeah, what is the human mind? But
Yeah, but to reference what you said about math, yeah, it is important if you're going to get a degree in engineering that you are at least good at math. Ideally, you somewhat enjoy it. I mean, there's not many people who like passionately enjoy math, but like if you can get some pleasure out of it, that's good. Uh, the type of math in particular that you really need to be good enough at is calculus. Uh, because like algebra is fine and all, like if you're good at it, but calculus is the thing that really matters. I mean, it's like Newton, Isaac Newton. That's his name, right?
yeah, classic Isaac Newton,
Right.
the
Okay.
guy who created calculus.
I was blanking on his first name. That's embarrassing. But
No worries, man.
Isaac Newton developed a lot of modern classical physics. Technically not modern. Modern is more like quantum physics and stuff. But he laid the foundation of classical physics. And he also was one of the guys, not the only guy, but one of the guys who basically invented calculus. So you can see that physics and calculus kind of go hand in hand. And engineering is a lot of physics.
Yeah, definitely is a lot of just science and math. So, all you guys who love science and stuff, I mean, kudos to you because engineering is a very popular field, very lucrative job opportunities out there. But yeah, so we went through the understanding that behind engineering, but for you went through electrical engineering, which is specific. So what makes it unique, and like why you like to go that route of engineering?
I mean, why I went that direction? Yeah, part of it, to be honest, was just that the GPA requirements to get into that program were pretty low. Because everyone wanted to go into computer engineering, because that's kind of, for obvious reasons, popular right now, because computers are everywhere and like in everything. They're like taking over the world right now.
It's true though.
But anyway, yeah. Besides that, I also just liked, like, part of it is like circuit analysis, which is sort of like solving puzzles, which I like puzzles. I like to solve puzzles, as well as Newtonian mechanics, which is like a lot of mechanical and civil engineering and stuff like that. Was not my favorite. Like, I didn't hate it. It was fine, but it was not my favorite. So I went the more electromagnetism route, which is electrical engineering at its core.
Definitely something to think about, y'all, if you're thinking about electrical engineering or wanting to figure out which subfield of engineering, because that's a big thing. A lot of people just go engineering just because they think of the money, or I guess they just have no idea. But hey, at least you get your foot in the door, figure things out, and see what you like. I think that's a huge thing, in college, just to figure things out. High school is, doesn't really truly prepare you to know exactly what specific field to go into. But, electrical engineering sounds like is something that is really important out there. Even if it's not computer engineering, which it's a different field. But,
Yeah. I mean, like, if you are thinking about computer engineering but aren't as much of a fan of like calculus and stuff like that, you can always try computer science, which focuses more on the software. It's like pure software. So if you're a computer coding person but you don't want to get as deep into like calculus and like physics, then that would probably be the way to go, in my opinion.
That makes sense. I know a lot of my some friends of mine would just do computer science and double major with math because it's easy. They're both coincide so well. But computer science is definitely a less, less physics, a lot of math, but it's more about program. But if you like to do software level stuff.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, there is still math in computer science, because computer coding has a lot of algorithms, which is also math. But I guess it's mostly the physics part that you don't have to deal with.
Yeah, physics is, not many people like physics. I remember my time, a lot of people like bio or chemistry, but those who like those just don't like physics, vice versa. Some people love physics but hate bio or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is like chemical engineering and like, I don't know if there's pure biological engineering. It's more like biomedical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
If you like biology and want to go into engineering. But yeah, I mean, I don't know a lot about those. I'm not gonna lie, they were not my fields of interest, so
yeah,
I can't really say much about those.
Definitely, it's a little tough. I think I only know a few people who do biomedical engineering, but it's definitely a lot of studying, a lot of classes. And then, like, since you were studying in college, like electrical engineering, what would you say college life was like being an engineer student? What would you say or summarize that balance?
From my own experience and observing fellow students.
Mm-hmm. Fellow cohort.
Yeah. From that, I'd say it varies a lot from person to person. It kind of depends. Well, one, how talented you are, because if you come in with more talent, and if you come in with a really solid foundation, like you took a lot of AP classes in high school, so you already know a lot of stuff, so you don't have to take as many courses, then your life will probably be easier and you can have more of a social life and, party more and have all that college fun. But if you don't come in with a lot of AP credits and like maybe some courses just are hard for you for whatever reason, be that math or, physics or chemistry, then it's going to demand a lot of time and you're really going to have to invest in it. I mean, personally, I think you should invest a lot of time in it either way, just because it will prepare you better for professional life, but that's just me.
That makes sense because honestly, like engineering is a big field, and you have to constantly, I think, want to make sure you're on top of studying. Because honestly, based on my experience my freshman year, like if I don't, if you don't study as much or every week or so, making sure you catch up with readings and stuff, you're gonna definitely suffer a lot more down the long term. Because if you, especially going to like those big colleges, if you don't take the time to time manage your studying time, you're definitely gonna regret. Because college is where you don't get somebody to tell you what to do. Like you're having this free time that you have to figure out what to use. Obviously, I've seen a lot of engineer students just constantly put themselves into study mode like every week because they know that if they miss out like studying, there's so many like things they could potentially like have issues learning. Because yeah, engineering is definitely more textbook, definitely heavy. We all survived. College is definitely doable. I don't think it's impossible to have social life. Some people think the stereotype is to just study and not have a life, but it's not that impossible if you can manage your time right. There's always time to meet friends.
Yeah, it's kind of about a time management as well as like, forgot to mention, having some of that social life at least be centered on like engineering type clubs or teams or whatever. You're having some social time, you're potentially practicing science and math, like depending on exactly which club. And it also just looks good on a resume. Is important in college because it's the precursor to your professional life, assuming you're not getting a PhD, which is a different story, but
That's true. Definitely take advantage of all the outside of the class activity, especially organizations, especially clubs. I know a friend of mine who did computer engineering. Like he took a club in like building this car, like this electrical car, but he definitely took it because it helped his work. His study, basically having a better resume for the job market. But I was wondering, because that made me remind me. Do you, as an engineer in your field, did you have to do internships or what's it called, co-op, I think?
co-ops, yeah. I mean, it wasn't required, but in retrospect, it would have been good, very good to do that, because then it's experience you can put on a resume, and it really, experience is even more valuable than education. Not to say education doesn't have its value, but if you have experience, employers will love you for it.
I believe that too, because like definitely nowadays it's all based on experience. Everybody wants to have some experience in the field. You can't just have a degree nowadays and just people expect like, yes, like you can definitely do the job. You definitely want to get in the field as much as you can. And definitely like with, I guess, what would you say, since you were studying electrical engineering, what would you say like the pros and cons while you were in college, like the classes, or what aspects did you enjoy the most about it or least like?
The pros and cons of the classes. I mean, just in general, I like math generally, so that part of classes I enjoyed. I mean, I like to learn about stuff, but then there's sometimes like I wasn't into software as much as some people, so if the class involved a large software project, I struggled with it because I wasn't good enough at coding to really do that easily or get it done efficiently. It would take me a really long time, so that kind of sucked. But I don't know, it just depends on what you're good at, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. I mean, it's why when you pick like a focus of the major, everyone pretty much goes towards what they're good at, because then it means you're taking more courses in that area, which you're good at, so you can enjoy more and have more of a life outside because it doesn't consume so much of your time.
Well said. Definitely. I feel like that, you want to make sure you can balance your life outside of the class, have more control over. But I guess now, since like touch a little bit about the outside world, outside the college, what is engineering like, I guess, in your field in the job market, or like what kind of work could you possibly do outside?
I mean, as a fresh graduate from college, the top available jobs would probably be like, well, software for one, everyone wants coders because everything's becoming a computer. So, in order to use those computers, you need to write software for them. You need to, be able to program them, which is all about, again, software, computer coding, computer science, computer engineering. It's everywhere. The kind of more old school safe option is going into more of like a power electronics, which will be used more for like power plants, like electricity generation, as well as like electric cars, which is a thing that's developing in the car industry, and various stuff like that. It's like you're always gonna need electric power. That's a very stable market. Like it might not have as many jobs instantly as software, but it's very stable. And then there's like more like the circuit design kind of part of electronics, that there's jobs out there for it. You're probably going to want to be good along with the circuitry. You're probably also going to want to be pretty good at either software or power electronics, so you can kind of merge the two and land a job there, because it's really, in my experience, kind of difficult to find a job that's pure circuitry without one of the other two as well.
I mean, it's a big thing out there. A lot of people love, there's so many opportunities for engineering. Like, it looks like constantly people are always hiring. It's very a robust field. You could do anything. I'm guessing, like, with your experience, you've done mostly like a desk job type of work. I'm sure there's different types you could maybe, describe.
Yeah, I mean, my first job out of college, briefly, was like as a patent analyst, which is unusual for an engineering degree, but some engineers do it. It's a possibility. You just read through patents and decide whether it's original or legitimate, and like if you wanted to go to law school, you could become like a patent attorney, I think is what it's called. But that's kind of an alternative course that I did not end up pursuing. I was there for a few months and then decided I really didn't like it, so we moved on, and then I got my current job, which is working for like an electronics manufacturing company, like the kind of company that makes the circuitry for your phone or your headphones or stuff like that. But yeah, the exact duties, like how that job would play out, been a lot of meetings, which I think is true based on, because my dad's also an electrical engineer. So also thinking about his experience, the engineering professional life is a lot of meetings. It's going to happen, because a lot of times you're on a team and you're working as a team to try and solve problems. So you need to have these meetings to talk over these problems and solve these problems. You might also meet with business people because they want products by a certain time, or whatever. Those meetings are not as fun as the ones with other engineers. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be meetings. There are engineering jobs that are more like field work, going outdoors and fixing things for people. I don't know a lot about that because I don't have experience with it. Neither did my dad. But those jobs do exist if like you really hate office work, which is what a lot of at least electrical engineering jobs are.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a lot of that's a really big part to think about when you're going to engineering. I think even not just for engineers, like for people who want to do work outside nowadays. Like some people realize, the 9 to 5 desk job might not be for me. I don't like to just sit in a cubicle all day. Some people want to be out in the field. I think that's something to really consider when you're studying a degree, because you want to find a degree that can help you fit your passion. If you want to go outside more, or you want to, definitely have to think about, because it really plays a big part of how you enjoy the job. Like for me personally, like I have experience both outside and walking around, being out in the field, but at the same time I have done a lot of cubicle work, and I think some people enjoy sitting down all day and some people don't. That's really something to think about when you're trying to eventually think getting a professional job. But that's definitely cool. Like team meetings, meetings is important. I feel like you have to work with people, even if you think that all engineers or computer science people are all like quiet introverts that don't want to socialize with people. It's impossible. I think you just have to socialize, or you have to learn to work.
there's like that's kind of a false stereotype because there's definitely people in the engineering who are like the kind of frat boy party types. Like, sure, you'll have your quiet nerds, but like you'll also have the frat boy types. It's just people from all walks of life, really.
That's true. Yeah, because nowadays engineering is definitely a popular people. So
Yeah, it's lucrative, and basically you just have to be good at math.
that's all you need.
That's the base of it. Like, there's other things you need to be decent enough at, but like math is the core.
Yeah, if you really want to do it, you gotta work on your math. So that's true. Or just do what I did and go in psychology. I don't know. Like, psychology is a whole different beast. If you guys want me to talk more about the field of psychology, just let me know in the comments if you want, or eventually I can definitely make another video on that, because I think it's really important for people to understand, like, psychology. It's a little bit different than engineering, because engineering, you can pretty much start doing the field work after bachelor's. With psychology, it's a little bit more different. I hope y'all really enjoy learning more about the engineering field. If you ever have questions for Connor, definitely you can also put that in the comments below. I'm sure you probably will see him again probably someday in other videos.
Yeah, at some point.
So otherwise, if you do enjoy this podcast or this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely, I will follow me here on YouTube. I probably will try to put this in a podcast. But otherwise, thanks, Connor, for coming. Definitely taking the time here with us. And definitely will see you in the next video. See ya.